Homeschooling complete. Clothes washed, house clean, kids and husband fed. All done in one short break. And now we're back to the Jennifer Fulwiler Show.
Jen Fulwiler, so delighted to be with you here from 2 to 4 East. Come say hello at thejfshow.com. I'd love to hear from you. And all today, all this afternoon, I've been talking about how excited I am to have DJ DLite back on the show. He is a radio DJ. He's hosted the Third Coast Fire Mix Show, one of the longest running Christian hip-hop and urban gospel radio shows in the country. I initially connected with him out at Kingdom Experience during the South by Southwest Music Festival. I got so much good feedback on his interview. It's remained one of my all-time favorite interviews on the show. So excited to have him back. DJ DLite, welcome back to the Jennifer Fulwiler Show.
Thank you for having me. Wow.
And do you know, so when I was out at Kingdom Experience, you introduced me to the Saga, and that was great. So he is a battle rap artist. Did you hear that he came to the SiriusXM headquarters in New York, taught me how to battle rap?
I heard about it.
It was kind of a disaster. It was kind of a disaster, but in a good way. And in fact, D-Lite, before we get into the great work that you're doing, your radio show, of course, I could always talk endlessly about the natural fit of Christianity and hip-hop. I'm going to play for you me rap battling. This is the Saga. This is Saga teaching me. And I'm trying to think, when would I have an excuse to rap battle in my life? And I realized, as a mother of 6, I've got all of these people blowing me up, trying to get me to do their bake sales, and you've got to volunteer for this, and you've got to go to this parent meeting. It makes me insane. I'm an introvert. I'm a hermit. I don't want to leave my house ever. And so I said, Saga, maybe I'll challenge them to a rap battle.
You'd win.
Well, now you'll have to hear it first. Don't proclaim that so quickly. So take a listen.
Okay.
DJ DLite, you can tell me if I'm ready to hit the rap battle stage.
Okay.
Probably not. All right, we'll take a listen here.
All righty.
Make cookies for your bake sale?
Uh-huh.
Sorry, ma'am. I gotta bail.
Right.
You try to use up all my time? Are you my boss? Because you ain't paying me a dime. I can't kill you with my hands, so I kill you with this rhyme.
Yay!
Ladies and
That
gentlemen,
is going on YouTube.
I don't think any cookies will be made for this bake sale.
Okay.
Most ridiculous thing that's ever happened. No, and actually, DLite, it got worse, because then... So SiriusXM has this great channel called Urban View. There's this wonderful woman named Karen Hunter. Strong woman, does not pull any punches. So the Saga ended up on her show. It's right after our shows overlap a little bit, but we can actually see each other through a window in the SiriusXM studios. So she'd been looking in, trying to think, like, what is going on in this studio? So we bring the Saga around. We get him on her show. He did this amazing freestyle rap on there. Oh, it was unbelievable.
Wow.
But before we went on the air, she heard about what happened, and everyone was laughing, hearing about me rap, and she said, "Oh, you got rhymes? Well, let's hear them." To me. And I want to impress her, so I thought, well, I can't back down. And so I did my rap for her and her whole crew of people who work on her show. And everyone just got silent. Her producer kind of looked away, and she said, "Let's just pretend that never happened."
Wow.
She calls it like she heard. So she's on the Urban View channel on SiriusXM. So I'll keep working on it. How about that?
Hey, well, you at least got to jump over all the other moms.
That's right.
See there?
That is a great point, actually. Maybe I'm terrible, but who else has been under the tutelage of the Saga?
Exactly.
I mean, I've got to head up from them. All right. So DJ DLite, tell me. Actually, we've got some music here that we can play so that people can kind of get a feel for the work that you do. Is this one Ridas? Is that one of your songs?
Yeah, no, actually, this is, if you remember from the Kingdom Experience, my friends Victorious and Jay Nice, those are my boys. I mean, that's my boys.
Yeah.
And so this is, Riders is actually a song by Victorious off of his latest project, Press Reset. And this is like one of the most fun songs to do live, because usually we bring up a bunch of Christian hip hop artists and people, and it's just basically our song that basically says, we're here to stay.
Oh, I love that.
And we're together.
And by
You know what I'm
we,
saying?
you mean Christian hip hop artists.
Exactly.
Because we've talked about that as a Christian hip hop artist, you kind of get it from both sides. The hip hop industry might say, "Oh, come on, Christians really?" But then the Christians might say, "Oh, come on, hip hop really?" So that's what this song. So that's what Ride is about.
Basically.
Oh, I love that. All right, let's pause for a second and take a listen to this.
Okay.
We are the truth. My shoes be riders. I'm in the neighborhood, taking back the streets, partner. Got 66, busting clips for some years, partner. Hard times make me tell it like it is, partner. Major boys switch gears and go straight to where they live, partner. We work home, fight through the night. It's alright because the lights.
D-Lite, I think this is not what people would expect from Christian hip hop. I think because I'll never forget in high school I was an atheist, and some Christian friend of mine knew that I liked hip hop and said, "Oh, I'm gonna play some Christian hip hop for you." And it was not good. It was all very like happy clappy, and hip hop has always talked about the struggle, and that's what I liked about it is that this was the genre of music, other than maybe I guess grunge back in the 90s, where people were really going deep in the struggle and talking about real life and their real problems. And so when I heard quote unquote Christian hip hop that was like, I love God, I love Jesus, I thought, no, you're missing the whole essence of hip hop. And is that something that you guys try to distinguish yourself from, like what people might expect from Christian hip hop?
Absolutely. I mean, over the years, I mean, I've been following Christian hip hop like seriously since like the early 90s. It was like one of the very first things that once I got, saved and born again, rededicated my life to Christ. One of the things I knew I had to change was what I was listening to. I was listening to a lot of hardcore stuff.
Yeah.
And so literally one of the things that the Lord had laid on my heart was basically to let go of that music collection. And I was like,
oh, no, you're like, no, my music.
You know what's funny? In my mind, my only understanding of what was considered gospel music was choirs.
Right.
So I was like, man, I don't want to listen. I like choir music. But I didn't want that to take up my whole. But then a friend of mine gave me I'm dating myself, a cassette tape.
Oh, yeah. We'll have to explain what that is. They didn't have an 8-track handy.
But it gave me this tape of a group called Dynamic Twins. And I was like, kind of like you. I was about to have this experience of like, oh man, this is going to be hokey. This is going to sound so. So I put it in and my mouth just hit the floor. I was like, you can do this and be a Christian? I mean, that's how I was like, these guys are really rapping. They're really going in and discussing things that were serious and were issues that they had dealt with. But then they show you the solution of how, by giving it to God or, something that they did along the way, it was all in the music. Yep. But it was awesome production. And that was like I'm talking about the Genesis kind of like early, and where it's gone to now. Oh man, it's incredible. And so, hats off to the artist because, like I said, and I told you this in the last interview, nowadays most hip hop is just so garbage and watered down. And it's really, they're not talking about anything. I mean, seriously, they're not talking about anything. But these guys, literally, when they go in, they have to have the message. And then on top of it, the music has to be on point. Right. So marrying both of that, it just once again, just opens up that door for ministry to really take place.
Yep. And I've often thought that with hip hop, with any genre of music, it is going to be better when you have people who have some kind of real struggle. Yes. I mean, like I always noticed that. I was a typical story from the 90s. I think I kind of was initially introduced to hip hop through Biggie Smalls. Everyone was listening to his music. But I heard something in him just with the title of his album, Ready to Die. Yeah. I mean, and he wasn't kidding. Like he really was. Yeah. And just with, there was the East Coast, West Coast thing and Tupac getting shot up and everyone thought he was a part of it. And I just thought it's not good what they're into, but there are some real struggles going on here. This is not just some pop, like one of those pop starlet who is, just goes from the suburbs to the record label and starts singing songs that other people wrote. These were people who were facing real danger in their lives, who had real struggles. You hear that in Tupac's music all the time, wondering if heaven's got a ghetto and, talking about shooting AKs where the kids play. And you hear his real pain. And so that's why when I discovered Christian hip hop, real Christian hip hop, I thought this is a natural fit because the Christian life does have so much pain in it. If you're doing it right, I mean, and it has so much joy that, we've got the crucifixion and the resurrection, but it is not an easy life. And so I thought, oh, okay, that makes sense that we would have Christian hip hop. This is, I think, a natural fit.
Absolutely. You know what's funny, now that you say that, one of the biggest things that's happening right now is there's a distinction of artists who don't want to be labeled a Christian hip hop artist.
Yeah.
Then you have a distinction of artists who say, I am a Christian hip hop artist. That's what I am.
Yeah, yeah.
And so there's this pulling. And to me, I'm like, why are we getting caught up in titles when there's a world that's hurting and dying and needs to hear the message that we portray and that we deliver in the music? So that's right now the thing that I'm really praying that God will continue to really birth in artists the desire that the message is more important than what we title ourselves or what we label ourselves or what we even want other people to label ourselves. The important thing is getting the message out there. And if it's done in a platform, like you said, that's banging and at the same time has substance and has truth in it, that's what we're supposed to be doing, not getting caught up in the title of what it is. And so
and I think that people are really hungry for authenticity, especially in this day and age where there's so much, now that we have the social media especially. It's I think for a lot of people in the music world and pop culture, it does sometimes it feels like it's one more place for sort of preening and putting out an image. And I think the authenticity that's coming out of quite a bit of Christian music, certainly the type of Christian hip hop that you, DJ DLite, are doing, and of course Jay Nice, the Kingdom Builder, the Saga, who I had on in New York, that kind of authenticity, I think people are going to start to take notice. And I noticed that, by the way, when the Saga was on the Karen Hunter show that I mentioned a moment ago, and she asked him to do a freestyle rap, I think everyone in that studio was shocked by just how raw and authentic it was that he was there. I won't even dare imitate it. It would just be heresy to try to imitate this awesome freestyle rap he did. But he was saying, like, my friends think I'm a fraud and I'm sick of people. Like, I can't even get ahead because everyone judges me ahead of time and they, hate on my God. And there was real struggle. And I think, like we said earlier, they expected that the Saga was going to get up there and do a cheesy, happy, that like just, only quoting Bible verses and not adding anything to it. And I think everyone said, wow, that was really authentic. I think we really saw a genuine message from this guy. And is that, as you, DJ DLite, as you, and you've got Jay Nice, the Kingdom Builder, and all these great guys that I met when I was out at Kingdom Experience, are you guys sensing that reaction as you go out and you perform in front of people? Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, Jay Nice shared something, I think, on Facebook that it registered to me, and this is what a lot of people think. They think that because it's Christian hip hop, most of the time it's meant for youth. It's just meant for kids. But like you said, the messages that a lot of these artists share may at times be a little weighty for some kids. Right. Yeah. They're not ready for it. They're not ready. Not that it's full of profanity like on the other side, but just the reality of what, like you said, they're living their life and they're putting it on display in the music. So they're showing you the things that they've overcome or the things that they're overcoming. And that's the reality of, scripture. The word of God says, Jesus said that in this life we will have tribulations, but he said, be of good cheer because I've overcome the world. So that, to me, it should be what we display to people. Is that, look, we got to go through the same things that you deal with every day. But the difference is we have the author and finisher of our faith that guides us through this. And so that's what I think these artists, when they're putting it through their music, people see. But yeah, usually the reticence of people to accept it is like, I don't know. But then when they see it and they like literally see it displayed, usually mouths are dropping. They're like, oh my goodness. Yeah, Jackie, let's play another clip we have. I think this is from your partner Jay Nice. Let's see. Let's do. What is this? Whippin the Gift is his latest single off his awesome video that was shot around downtown Austin. If you get a chance to check it out on YouTube. But yeah, Whippin the Gift by Jay Nice. Awesome song. And of course, DJ DLite, I love following you on Instagram. You are DJ DLite, and that's LITE 512 on Instagram. Yep. Love following you there. It's so fun to keep up with you. And tell I don't have a note here. Where else can people find you online? Yeah, my website, like the whole
moniker thing is DJ DLite512.com. That's my website where I host all my mix shows. Facebook, Instagram. Yeah, that's all the labels.
All right, so I'm going to ask you about this mix show here in a second,
sure.
but tell me about the message of this song, "Whippin The Gift." That's such a catchy title. I love it.
Yeah, so basically, his when Jay Nice describes it, he talks about how his grandmother, if you can imagine, in the kitchen, he said, his grandmother, I think, if I want to say correct, she had some type of handicap. She may have been able to only see out of one eye.
Oh, wow.
But he talks about how she would get in the kitchen and she would just be whipping, whipping that whatever it was that she was going to be baking. You could just see her just going. And he was like, that's the way it is, that God gave him that revelation of that's the way it is about everything that we're involved in. We should be that passionate about it that we're just whipping it. I mean,
I love that.
Just digging
I love
in
that.
and just getting it out and grinding it to the full potential of where it needs to be. So that's what Whippin The Gift he's done with his rap, is he's whipping the gift that God has given.
Oh, I love that. Let's take a listen to this for a second.
So if you climb in the pit to hell, it'll be over my dead body. Everything God gave me is desire within. My call, my talent. It's sure they bleed. I step in the kitchen, my passion, I'm drumming, no coking, no soda, not whipping the bread. No dope in the pot, I'm not moving no rock, but it's all that I got, so whipping the gift.
I love this. And I love seeing, we talked about following you on Instagram, DJ DLite512. And I love seeing the reaction you guys get when you perform live. I mean, there's just nothing like that. Yeah. To connect with people in person. I mean, we Christians, we are incarnational people. Mm-hmm. We understand more than anyone the power of proclaiming a message to people in person, not just on the iPod, on the internet, whatever the case may be. And that must be so gratifying to get out there in front of the crowds.
It is. And it's fun. I mean, we literally, when we do stuff and just seeing people blessed by it, there's no reward for that. I mean, it is so gratifying, but just knowing that you might just say one thing that can change. I remember a guy told us, Victorious and I did a radio show here locally, back in the late 90s, early part of 2000. And this guy came up to us at a show one time and said, "You guys don't know me from Adam." He goes, "But I used to listen to you guys every week." And I got saved and got born again as a result of your show.
Whoa.
I mean, what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that goes to show, you did the message that God calls you to put out there. Just do it. Don't question it. I mean, because you couldn't have predicted that. You couldn't have put that on your calendar that this guy is going to hear this word on this day and get saved. Just do it when God calls you to put something out there. So speaking of which, tell me about this Third Coast Fire mix show. Love the name of it. Yeah, tell us about this.
So Third Coast Fire has been my baby that I've been doing since 2005. It started off, basically, when I began DJing, it came out of a need. There was a ministry here locally called Praise in the Park, and they were doing every year going out in the different parks in the Austin area and having music throughout the day, feeding people. So one day I was part of the kind of the organizers of putting the event together, and they said, "We need a DJ." At this time, I started collecting my Christian hip hop albums. So I said, I'll do it, so I went to, at that time it was Mars Music. I went and got, 2 CD players and a mixer, and I was ready, so that's what really ushered me into DJing. So lo and behold, 2 years after that, we started doing, like I said, myself and Victorious, we started doing a local radio show. Did that, and that was when I just knew God was just in this thing that I was called to do.
Isn't that a great feeling when you find something and you feel like, man, this is God's will. Yep. This is where I am supposed to be.
Mm-hmm. So lo and behold, after being on the show for a little while, we got cut from the radio station. Long story short. So that really hurt me, and it made me kind of like, oh man, did I fail? You know how you have that feeling where you step out and do something and you saw it really succeed, and then all of a sudden so that's how I was going through this. And then I'll never forget, my pastor encouraged me one day, and he said, son, every day, and this was, I believe, out of his spirit. God gave him this revelation to give me. He goes, I want you to just declare every day that God has given you a voice that will impact the nations.
Wow.
So I started doing it. I started praying and thanking God for, I have radio show none. So a friend of mine, at this time, podcasting had kind of began, was very, kind of infancy stages. And so he basically told me, I know you guys used to do this radio show, but would you consider doing a podcast? And I'm like, so I started doing it and did that for about 6 months. Then a friend of mine in Houston for the last 3 years prior to that, so this is about 2003, 2004, he was doing this event called the Texas Holy Hip Hop Achievement Awards.
Oh, that's cool.
The reason he did it is because he said that there was no one else who was going to honor the artists who did Christian hip hop. So God had placed it in his heart to provide this platform that would give artists an outlet of being appreciated. Because he says the churches aren't going to do it.
Right.
So he goes, someone has to do it. And I mean, literally, he put together a gala event with, a red carpet. I mean, it was.
Oh, that is so
was incredible.
Cool. Man, talk about, just to pause on that for 1 second. I mean, it just shows when you get that kind of inspiration, it might seem like a simple thing. I could even see that guy talking himself out of it, saying, well, nobody cares. But I mean, how much did that bless everyone involved to say, you know what? The Christians aren't going to appreciate you. The hip hop industry is not going to appreciate you, but I appreciate you.
Exactly.
So here's this event. Wow. All right. Go ahead, DJ DLite.
So basically, I get this invitation in the mail. Like I said, I had only been doing the podcast thing for no more than about 5 or 6 months. So I didn't think it was really taking. So I get this invitation saying that I was nominated as DJ of the Year with like 3 other guys.
Whoa.
So I'm like, how in the world did this happen? So, I go to the awards, and like I said, this is like the 3rd year, so it's getting notoriety. Like, people are noticing this award show, because, it's done huge.
And tell me again the name of it.
It was called the Texas Holy Hip Hop Achievement Awards.
Okay.
And so, they announced the everybody that was nominated, and then they announced me as the winner. And
whoa.
So I'm like...
You're like, what?
And so, basically... I just felt in my heart, God say from that situation, he goes, watch what I'm about to do, just because of that one award. So I started getting phone calls from different media outlets. One in particular was one of the largest at the time Christian hip hop internet sites. Actually, was a podcasting site called Holy Culture Radio.
Oh, Holy Culture Radio. I need to write that down. Okay.
And so they invited me to be one of the DJs that had featured shows on there. And literally, that's how Third Coast Fire began. The guy that was over it at the time, he basically came up with the logo and everything. And so it was hilarious. The when I saw the logo, I was like, because my logo literally is the state of Texas, and it has the phrasing inside, but it's kind of like right at the heart, which we're in Austin, so it's like right at the heart of the state. So this man of God had told me, this was like, I'm literally holding the logo, and this man of God, we were getting ready to end this revival that I was a part of through my church. And so we're getting ready to end, and the man says, hold up, wait a minute. He goes, I see God doing something in Austin. I just saw it. It's just as visible as I can see anything. He goes, but it's almost like, he said, the closest thing I can compare it to is, remember Bonanza? He goes, remember how Bonanza began?
Bonanza.
And he goes, how it would like, the match would like light up on the map, and he goes, I literally saw a fire coming out of Austin and burning out of the state and impacting like the whole world. And I'm looking at this logo.
And that's like your logo, the Third Coast Fire. Oh my God.
And I'm
whoa.
So I went up to him and I told him, I said, look at this. And he goes, young man, he goes, you ride that thing till you can't ride it anymore. He goes, this is God. And so that's literally, like I said, where it all started. And throughout the years, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I just want to note that where the story really starts is when you had a local radio show here in the Austin, Texas area that didn't work out. And you said that was a moment of, you were really bummed about that. I mean, no one likes to lose a gig, even if you were ready to move on to other things. And so I think that's really encouraging for anyone listening, that maybe they had something that didn't work out and it feels like it's the end and it feels like it's just a lost opportunity and everything's bad now. I think DJ DLite, there's a powerful message in your story.
Praise God. I mean, and God's been faithful, and there are times even now, I'm not a spring chicken anymore. And so I've seen a lot, but the good thing that God has used the show, and people kind of look up to me kind of now as a grandfather, because,
you look a little young to be a grandfather, but all right, maybe a young grandfather. One of my friends, a regular on the show, she's 39 and has 2 grandkids, so maybe a young grandfather.
But we've been blessed to, literally play, there's several young men who are doing amazing things, and I can never forget them saying, there was one time that I used to listen to your show and literally like dissect it to do what I do, and they're doing leaps and bounds beyond what I'm doing now. And that blesses me, because someone has to be a trailblazer a lot of times, and
that's scary.
Yeah,
that's risk. It feels risky to be a trailblazer. So DJ DLite, where can people look up the Third Coast Fire Mix Show?
Yeah, absolutely. On DJ DLite512.com is my website. We also just recently started podcasting through Google Play. So they can go on the Google Play Store.
The Google Play Store.
And subscribe. All they have to do is just look up DJ DLite, and it should come up, and they can instantly subscribe. And the show usually, I do it about for an hour. And
And what do you talk about? What kind of things? So obviously, if anyone's just joining us, you are a Christian hip hop artist. We've talked about the importance of really being authentic, of talking about the struggle. It's not light, happy, clappy hip hop, and so that's your world that you come from. So what kind of things do you talk about on the Third Coast Fire Mix Show, which people can look up at DJ DLite, and that's LITE 512.com.
My biggest thing that I do on the show is feature a lot of artists that people have never heard of.
I love that.
That's the big thing, because usually those artists, they don't get the attention that a lot of people would get. So when I find stuff all the time, I'm like, why don't they have a platform?
Yeah. Oh, I know. I see that too.
So I've pretty much made myself and made my show to be that platform for what I call the next generation artists. So usually I'll have them on to do interviews, but mainly it's a mixed show. So I play a lot of music, but in between the segments, I'm also doing interviews with some of the artists that we play. Oh,
that is so good. Okay, so here in just a second, what I want to do, I want you to introduce me to some new music here. I need some new music to listen to. I haven't really put much new stuff on my iPod recently, so when we come back, I want to get to that. Okay. And kind of you can walk us through what you do on the Third Coast Fire Mix Show, which everyone needs to look up at DJDLite512.com. Got that for you next here on the Jennifer Fulwiler Show.
Name, Jennifer Fulwiler. Occupation, radio talk show host. Mission, to get you closer to heaven. Now back to more of the Jennifer Fulwiler Show.
Jen Fulwiler back with you here for another few minutes. So delighted to have you joining me here this afternoon. If you've missed any part of today's show, you will want to look it up on demand on the SiriusXM app. You can always listen to full episodes at your convenience. And I am so happy to have DJ DLite back with me. You've got to check out his radio show. You can get it as a podcast. You can listen to it online. You can check it out anywhere. Look him up at DJ DLite 512. That's our area code. That's where that comes from. DJ DLite 512.com. All right, so DJ DLite, welcome back to the show. And so let's talk about what you do. We were talking about what you do on your radio show, Third Coast Fire. It's a mixed show. So there's something very Christian about this, that you take the success, the platform that God has given you, and you use it to shine a light on other people. You're not just hogging the spotlight for yourself. I think that's deeply Christian, and it's got to be really fulfilling to take people that maybe people aren't as familiar with and say, hey, this guy needs more of a platform. Let's get this guy's message out.
I mean, that's where I got my name.
Matthew
5:16 is, let your light so shine before men that they see your good works and glorify your Father. So my objective is to show other people's lights, so that the more lights we have, one can put 1,000 to flight, two can put 10,000 to flight. So the more lights shining we have, the better. So that's exactly, you hit it right on the nail.
Oh, I love it.
That's what we're supposed to do.
I love it. So tell us, what is, say, one of the artists that you've highlighted recently on the Third Coast Fire Mix Show?
So recently I just did a project, a mixtape with a little friend of mine I call him my little brother from Louisiana, Perry G is his name. The name of the project is My Vow Part 2. And a song called Empire is the latest single off of that, featuring Calvin Martyr right here from Austin. So
all right, so and I like that name, Calvin Martyr, too. That is fantastic. And that again, the word martyr, I mean, it's a deeply Christian word, but it also reminds us that the Christian life, is not about bringing your dish to the potluck after the Bible study. I mean, the Christian life, this is the way of the cross. It is not easy. And if your life as a Christian is super easy, you're probably doing it wrong.
Yep, this is true.
All right, so this is something that you highlight on the Third Coast Fire Mix Show. This is Perry G's song Empire. Let's take a listen.
Them haters be talking, but not in the room. Ain't not in the room. Kool Man, they looking for clues. And yes, I'm a leader, my footprints are shooting. DVD move like some troops. We cross in a row, we not hiding in coops. We in the building, they looking for clues. We not in the lobby, we up on the roof.
Man, so DJ DLite, my cousin is actually a hip-hop DJ out in the Raleigh, North Carolina area. And this sounds like something he'd play at his house. And if I heard that, I would never guess that this guy is a Christian, Perry G. He's got a Christian message. I'd never guessed that. Yep. So I love that you're using your platform to promote these up and coming people, get an audience for them. I think we've got time for one more. I need some new songs to listen to. So tell me, who else should I be listening to?
Okay, so I'm gonna highlight my homeboy from Florida, Jacksonville, Brinson.
All right, Brinson.
So I think he has a song that's really awesome called Schwarzenegger.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Schwarzenegger music. I'm looking at the video right now. And they're dressed up in these Arnold Schwarzenegger, like the what do you call it, like the muscle suits?
Yeah.
This is hilarious, like Hans and Franz from Saturday Night Live.
Exactly.
Oh, this is the funniest thing I've ever seen. People need to look this up. It's by Brinson, Brinson, and just Google Brinson and Schwarzenegger, like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah. This is so funny.
So you know what he's saying basically in the song, that's the Lord's mindset. You know, the Lord is hard, like Arnold. And he's saying literally, I'll be back.
Are you
so
kidding?
You better get ready because he's saying, I'll be back.
Okay, so as you're listening to the song, talking to the listener here, as you're listening to the song, imagine these guys in these Hans and Franz type outfits, like shooting these fake guns. It's totally over the top. It's so awesome. Take a listen.
What you living for? I'ma take a selfie in the air when I'm in that rap truck. He coming back like Arnold, but they ain't trying to hear it. They buying true lies in times, boy, we near it. I'm swinging the double-edged sword, call me Conan.
Yeah, this is one you have just got. Oh, like Conan, like a Conan the Barbarian reference. This is one your life is not complete just hearing the music. You've got to look up Brinson Schwarzenegger, like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Love that. So and how do you find these people on your radio show?
Well, really, and this is what I love about it, is that it's more than just music with us. It's relationship. These are guys that a lot of times I've been knowing for years.
Yeah.
And it started with them just simply sometimes just sending me a song through email. And then that connection led to us becoming, not just friends, but brothers. A lot of them are like really, really close friends of mine. So,
and that's so Christian, to take it beyond, to take it, not just where you're doing music together, but have a real connection. Okay, so people can follow the Third Coast Fire Mix Show. They can go to DJ DLite512.com. It's not a subscription. They can just follow it.
Absolutely.
Keep up with what you're doing. DJ DLite, this has been wonderful. Thank you so much for joining me here in studio on the Jennifer Fulwiler Show today.
Thank you, Jenna.
All right, again, DJ DLite512.com is the website. You can always connect with me. Just search for my name, Jennifer Fulwiler, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Oh, I'm on Snapchat now, too. And I will be back with you tomorrow here on the Jennifer Fulwiler Show on the Catholic Channel, SiriusXM 129.
You're listening to the Catholic Channel, SiriusXM 129.